Hi, so got the Empress set up. I did a little bit of a wrap around it already prior to getting ready for the leather. And then I got this dual momentary switch from Dark Wolf Custom Sabers out of New York. So I'm going to fish these wires through. This is a 16 mil switch right here. I'm going to do it side by side. I'm going to actually have these underneath the leather, so you can push the buttons inside. Okay, so now the fun part is going to be pressing this in. So I'm going to try to be super gentle with this thing. Don't want to end up doing any damage to it. So I'm going to just set this gently on there and kind of compress it a little bit from one side and a little bit from the other. There we go. And now just set it down nice and flush. So got both the momentary switches right there, and they're going to hook in. So the leather wrap is going to go over the top of it, and then you'll just push the buttons underneath. So yeah, the leather part's going to be the fun part, doing the wrapping it around. Although it'd help if I put the leather on the right way around, but that's a later process. So on this hilt, I'm going to end up putting a Golden Harvest version 3 in it. Here's the wiring for each one of these switches. Got my chassis to go in there. So this will take a 18650 battery. Just drop it in and go. They'll also have a TCS 8 ohm 4 watt speaker in it. Gonna go with a tri-cree right here. This is an RGB. So my first step I'm going to be going through on here is actually soldering up the wiring for the LED. I'm going to be running one of these connectors for my RGB. Gotta grab the other end of it. So I'm going to have the black running as my negative red, green as green, blue as blue, and my red as the positive line. My iron's nice and hot, so I'm going to start out with this positive right here. All I need is enough wire to run through right there, and then just going to run it a little bit on the other side. Snipper. Now the nice thing about this silicone type coated wire is I can strip it with my fingers real quick. Get this in the flux. Then we're going to go to the next pad. There we go. That one's good. Slip it through. And just solder that right on. So, next one is going to be my blue. Alright. In the flux. Get a little solder on this baby. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to do quick the same thing for my green. There we go. Now I got them all on there. So So feed the green wire through. Feed the blue wire through. So these two are not going to get a resistor on them. Dip a little flux on them. Get a little solder on the soldering iron. And they're joined. Nice. Let's test this out. So I should be able to test both the green and the blue off the one red lead as joined. So here we go. Put the positive on here. Let's check the green. There it is. Test the blue. Alright, and then switch leads. There's that one. I'm going to test the red. Over there. There's the red. So I'm going to snip the legs shorter. And up there. And there. Clamp it like that. So what I'm going to do, slide that down. I'm going to trim this right about here. Going to strip it a little bit, give it a twist. I'm going to put this leg into this part of the helping hands, and I'm going to change my angle on the resistor so it's holding just right. So I want these two touching, like right up to each other, side by side. I'm going to give it a slight little brush right there. Get more solder going right here. Alright, so that's joined together. Nice firm joint. Alright, so now I got the bottom part of the resistor covered in here. I'm just going to hit it with the flame quick, just to condense down that heat shrink. Get it nice and tight around there. So that's nice. Now these are all going to kind of join together. I'm going to splice a little piece of red to lengthen this out. So these are going to end up joining up a little bit farther down the line. There we go. This part is ready to go. Gonna hit the lens over the top, line it all up. Then we slip it right into the rest of the module assembly. Tighten it right in place. And here is where I need my screwdriver. Actually, I'll grab a larger screwdriver, because the precision one just doesn't get a big enough grip on this one. So this is nice and snug. Fit inside the module. Module should slide right in. Yep, fits nicely. Yep, it'll slide in and fit right in place. So I gotta solder my red wires together. Coming up, so I gotta figure out what length I'm gonna need. So size these two up right here. I'm gonna give it a little trim. Bam, like that. give it a little strip. Give this one a little more of a strip on this side. And these two are ready for the connector. There's the reds. Now the thing is, I want to make sure when this sets in that it has enough length to reach towards the bottom. So I want these to be about at a max about this length right here. Alright. So the catch is, I'm going to trim all the wires to the same length on this. So everything is going to be the same length as the red wires right there. Let's get that together. The solder starting to go into the joint. There we go. Beautiful. Two joined wires. And now slide that heat shrink down in place. Give it a little quick blast. These wires being pretty warm, should be able to twist them halfway decently, but they got a decent little twist to them. But I'm going to add this right here. Right at the joint, kind of hold them together real good. Alright, so this part is ready to go. Well, I usually go with green here being my negative, yellow being my positive. So, strip, twist, same thing here, strip and twist. So you see the red side right there. So I'm going to heat this up. Click on this TCS speaker there. And now I'm going to do the green on the other side. As soon as these are done. Alright, so now I just got to heat shrink it. These two are ready, so I'll fish them on through. So I got one wire that's going to come out on the side, one wire that's going to come through the middle, and then this one I got to fish back in. Now I got to be careful because I got my negative and my positive for my battery, which are right there. So I got to be careful and make sure I don't mix the two yellows, because the one yellow is for the speaker. So I'm going to end up marking that one. So here's my speaker. It's going to be at the bottom. Okay, I'm getting prepped for the next step on here. I've chosen to go with the Golden Harvest version 3 here. I got the red, green, and blue soldered to the red, green, blue pads. That's just LED 1, 2, and 3. They got a fourth pad off to the side for an RGBW setup that I'm not using today, but the side one right here is for the white. Right there. That's pad number 4. So next step is I'm setting up for my momentary switches. I'm going to do them side by side like this. Going to give them a little bit of a twist. I'm going to quick get some solder on these pads. The pads are set. So right here, so we got 3 little pads ready to go. Get a little solder on this tip. I'm going to start with this one right here. So I'm going to start with this one and solder it right here. Just get it down, bonded to the pad. Alright, so I'm going to keep the black wire off for a while. Gonna solder the other red wire down, and then gonna do both blacks together in the middle. 1 second. As you get older, guys, your hands start to shake more, which is incredibly annoying when you work with stuff like this. So I'm going to set this off to the side and get these two together. I'm actually going to grab my little clamp here. Get a little solder on the tip. I got some solder off to the side at least. Get this up to glob on down. Alright, so now I got all my wires that are going to be running off this board up this way are actually going to be right in place. Right there. Nicely. Alright. So now I got this gripped. So my next step on soldering this up is going to be the speaker. So I'm gonna quickly solder this pad there and here. Alright. Those pads are nicely soldered. Alright, and then the battery negative is right here as well, so I'll do this one quick. Alright. Crazy thing is, battery negative is right here besides that. Okay. So I'm going to lower this down. First things first, I think I'm going to solder up the battery negative, make sure this is short enough. I don't want any of it overstepping its bounds. Sure the tip is nice and clean. Put some solder up. Line this bad boy up. Add a hair more. This joint, and it should be good. There we go. Now, here's the speaker wire. Trim it down just a hair. There we go. Give it a good twist. Alright. So here we go. get those speaker wires in place. Perfect. Alright, so the only thing I got left is soldering up positive on it, and it is actually on the back side of this whole thing. So it is, if I remember right, it's on this side of the board, which is going to be the top anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move all this wiring off to the side quick. Try to tap this down on this double stick tape that's right here. Should be good. This is all nicely in place. The only thing left to do is go and check the SD card, make sure I got it set to the right mode. Alright, so I'm back. Went upstairs, got this programmed for RGB with colored flash. Okay guys, I'm getting prepped to do some of the electronic work on here. Gonna drop the LED module through. Alright, here's the LED module. Slid down. Let's see. Grab the forceps quick to hold this piece right here at the bottom to lock into the. Alright. Now the next step is going to be plugging in the momentary switches. So, going to test it out, make sure I got these in the right order. A second, just snap that one in. I'm going to do a quick test. Alright, that's the primary. I just got to hook in the secondary switch. So I'm just going to hold it like this so I can just slide it and snap it right in place. Alright, so now I got the secondary switch. Alright, so the right switch is the secondary. And the left switch is the primary. Alright, so this side right here is for kill key, is not for an actual recharge port, unless you go with a battery that's actually able to be recharged in here. But this is set up to be interchangeable. That way you just slide this out, take your battery, old battery out, put in a new battery, and throw the old battery back on the charger. So to fit this in, I'm going to have to kind of manipulate this around just to make sure none of these wires get caught. Alright, so just sliding this in. I'm going to take this foam that's on that part out, and then it should fit just right on the bottom. So here we go. Gonna screw in the pommel quick. Get it nice and snug. Alright, we got the bottom part of the Empress in place. So now I just gotta twist the wires some and get the LED module put down into place. So LED module will be held down by the blade, as the majority of Ultra Saber lightsabers end up working out. Right here is where the set screw goes for the blade. I got a bunch of stainless steel set screws. So let's see. I think they use 8/30 seconds, but I'm not for certain. Yep, 8/30 seconds. Okay, that'll stop it from coming up, but there it is. Got the set screw in place. Real nice stainless steel set screw. Now I can set this down, screw in the top, and all I have to do to see how it looks is just put a blade in it. Alright, gonna go get a blade and let's see how well it lights up. So tapping the button changes how the light strobes on your primary, and also you change some of the colors as well. So tapping it twice changes your main color. So I got my leather wrap. I got some barge cement, all-purpose cement. Just trying to get it a little bit. Brush it against the surface. Don't want it real thick, but and I got marked out where the actual switch is going to be, and so I'm not going to be putting the cement at that point. I'm just going to let this dry a little bit. Make sure I get every bit of this I want gone down. Go in. Alright. Okay. Just remember which way I should brush this up. Yeah, it's something pretty good. Just give these edges. They don't fall away. They don't. Same thing down here. Just got all the switches. Maybe just cut it nicely. Alright. Just let that dry a little bit until it becomes tacky. And move it a little bit because I don't want it to bond with any of the adhesive that got on the actual table here. So what I'm going to do is I got a little spot marked on here. I'm going to start my wrap, which is right here on this side. So I'm going to try to line this up height wise. I want a little bit of a gap. Try to keep that gap evenly across the entire top. Just slowly spin this around until I match it up, and I'm going to do a slight overwrap right here. Second. I get this off just a hair from what I want. So I'm going to pull this in a little bit more. Alright. Then just work it around until I got exactly what I want. Alright. I'm working that edge, trying to keep this about as even as possible. I just want a little bit over where it fits over the edge of the hair. Pressing this down as I go. Trying to keep this wrap even as I'm going across the edge. Really pressing this down. Just give it that bond. Keeping this as even as possible. Looks nice. Alright, trying to get this to bond right. Alright, so I got a nice little leather wrap on it. And then you got your two buttons right here. I still might do some like light sanding around the body just to kind of give it a little more of a weathered look. Once this leather wrap dries out really good, I'll show it off. So, see you in a bit. Shadows. Your shadows. Blaster, lock up, force effects. Here we go. Next one.
The class of throne.
Blaster, lock up, force effects, change the way the flicker goes. I'm going to change the color, so got more to that yellow color you guys are used to. So it's really nice having the smooth swing with the golden harvest.
Balance.
So onto balance. There's the flash on clash. Blaster bolt. Lock up. Force effects. Onto cyborg. Blaster. Lock up. Force effects. Next setting.
Daddy issues complete.
Daddy issues. There we go. There's the blaster. Lock up. Force effects. Next. Guardian. Blaster. Force effect. Back up. One second. Alright. Next.
Cryocarbon.
Cryocarbon. The force effects. Lock up. Blaster.
Son of darkness.
Alright. That's a blaster. Lock up. Force effects. We're going to be doing some weathering here. I've already done it for the majority of the hilt. I have left this top piece of the emitter, and I'm going to use some 220 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to work some of these edges. Giving it a little bit of a rough up. So I'm up some nice shiny animation. I gotta watch my finger because whenever I was working on the lower accent piece of the pommel, I end up getting myself pretty good. Although I just nicked myself again on the same spot. So, yeah, I cut out these little crown pieces. And there's a lot more steps you can go through to weathering down a hilt. Really getting your look down to adding like elements of dirt, stuff like that, kind of give it that grimy look using different chemicals and such. But right now I've gotten some of it done. Add some scratches. And then give it a little bit of sanding. Make these scratches look a little less pronounced. I'm giving it a little more aggressive working, because this file will work on some of these edges a little more. Get more with the and I'm dulling some of this edge on this thing, since I have cut myself a little bit on this, so I'll use the file to kind of dull this edge. So it looks kind of beaten in different areas. So came out with a pretty nice kind of weathered look to it. Here it is, beat up, got a little scratch on it, kind of look to it. Got some character. There. Trying to make it so it looks beaten up. So, she's ready to go. Hi. So, I'm about here to demo the Empress with the Golden Harvest version 3 in it. So right now I got in Guardian. So this one's in more of a greenish yellow. Shut this off quick.
Cryocarbon.
Onto cryocarbon. So this one's got like more of a freezing sound to it, so if I hold this down, so hence the cryocarbon term. Switch it up. Alright, switch it up.
Son of darkness.
So let's switch up the colors on this one.
Eternal Prince.
So it's got a pretty good amount of color options, flash options. So I'm switching through the different flash options. And that's just the kind of like the flicker effects, the flat and flash options in there. I'm going to change the color.
classic villain.
So on to classic villain. So, when it comes to impact on a stab, it's a whole lot different sound than an impact like that. So,
balance,
alright, back to balance. So back to sideboard. So here we go, sideboard. Still different impact sound for a clash or a stab.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, then please press the like button.
And if you like what you've been watching, please hit the subscribe button.
To see our latest video, click on the link to the right.
Thank you again. Later.